So welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time since I've done a video on this channel, and I kind of restructured it and rebranded it. It was kind of like a news channel before, but there's all kinds of news channels. You got the fake media. You've got all these YouTubers telling you their opinions and showing you this and showing you that. You've got AI out there changing things around. So I decided to change this up because I'm a conspiracy person, but I don't like, just spewing unfounded nonsense. I'm the kind that likes to go into the deep dive and research things. If it takes months, weeks, it doesn't matter. That's just the way I am. And, over the past few months, we've been seeing the Charlie Kirk saga. Okay, you got to realize the whole world's a stage. Okay, and it's all theatrics. I mean, once you start looking at things like that, then you'll realize, what's going on. Well, you might not, but it helps. So, I decided, but looking at, watching this Erika Kirk lady, right from the beginning, I just had a feeling she's fake, okay? She's got ulterior motives. And I do believe that Erika Kirk was sent to Charlie. I don't believe that they just met by happenstance, okay? And there's a lot of stuff out there, if you've been watching that, that will tend to lean that way. And then you have Candace Owens, which everybody, says she's crazy and she's doing this. And a lot of what she's saying is true, okay? And I don't think she's crazy. I think she's part of the plan. And that's what these next video series that I'm going to be doing is going to get into. And, by following the back end, the money end, and connecting the dots, you can put it together a pretty clear picture that everything that's seen is not what it is. Remember, the whole world's a stage, and it's all theatrics. So, I believe that all of this is being manufactured, okay, to control the majority, which is conservatives, the patriots, the rebels in the political scheme in the United States. And it's all controlled opposition. And we're going to get into this. And, most people think that the war for the America right, the conservative party, the conservative vote, is being fought in Scottsdale, Arizona, Erika Kirk, or Nashville, Candace Owens, because these are, Charlie Kirk was like becoming the voice for the conservative party. And whether Charlie Kirk was offed, whether he's still alive, I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. I'm here for what's going on, because that's the stuff they want you to be paying attention to. It's like, watch this hand so you don't see what the other one's doing. That's exactly what's going on here. And everybody thinks it's about personalities, the legacy, and who gets to wear Charlie Kirk's crown. Well, that's already been decided, okay? I mean, you know, so, and that's not what it's about. And, and if you've been watching The Bride of Charlie, which is Candace Owens' documentary going at Erika Kirk, uh, pretty much most of what she's saying is correct. And I think she's just skimming the surface, but she's not going deep on purpose. I think she's playing her role. And that's just that's just the way it looks to me. Okay. So, so while you're watching the Bride of Charlie documentaries and the verified response videos, all of the influencers and creators like, Jesse on Fire and the Shapiro and all these people, okay? The machine, they've changed up what they're doing because nobody watches mainstream media. So they're not going to come at you through there. They're going to come at you through these influencers. That's what's happening. Okay? And while all this was happening, the Bank for International Settlements in Switzerland, okay, was finalizing a document called Project Agorá. Okay, and this isn't a conspiracy theory. This isn't just a thought. It's a white paper. Okay, and it describes the unified ledger, and this is what they're working for. But a little bit about what the unified ledger is. It's a global programmable platform. Now, you keep in mind that they want a digital currency. They want a one world system. Okay. Just keep that in mind. So, this unified ledger, okay, like I said, is a global programmable platform where every dollar, every asset, and every person is synced to a single data point. But there's a problem with that. To make it work, they need 100% participation, okay? They need everybody on board, or they need to be able to get everybody in the same system. So they need people who trust the system, but more importantly, they need people that don't trust the system. Okay. And today, I'm showing you the blueprint. This is how the G20 uses your favorite pundits, our influencers, our creators, whatever you want to call them, okay, to build your digital cage. So I'm going to put a graphic up on the board that I put together, which you can be, while you're listening to me talk about what's, I think's going on. They, so you can, and I'm kind of going to talk through this so you'll see with what this, graphic is showing. I'm going to explain it to you. So let's start at the top. So the G20 New Delhi Declaration of 2023 laid the groundwork. By 2025, the Bank for International Settlements moved from theory to execution. They realized that central bank digital currencies weren't enough. Okay, that wasn't going to get it done because people would just opt out of it into private tokens or sovereign cash. Okay, so they designed the unified ledger. Think of it as a universal translator for money. It doesn't matter if you have digital dollar or tokenized gold bars or a sovereign PGP token. If it's on the ledger, it's programmable, it's trackable, and it's taxable. But here's the catch. The sovereign population, the descendants, the patriots, the skeptics, they'll never join a government ledger. So the G20 needed an on-ramp. They needed a version of the ledger that looked like a rebellion. And this is where our story begins. So in September 2025, Charlie Kirk was removed from the board. And however he was removed, I'm not getting into all that. But he was removed from the board because they knew that they could never get him on board. So he had to go. So his successor, Erika Kirk, his wife, she didn't just take over a nonprofit. She took over a data funnel. And Erika Kirk represents the verified on-ramp. This is for the institutionalist. The message is stay in the system, be a verified American, link your biometrics to the Oracle, and we will protect you from the chaos. So this captures 50% of the movement. But what about the other 50%? The ones who hate the Oracle, the ones that are not going to willingly sign up for it. Okay, the ones that are not going to get on board. So you enter Candace Owens. She represents the sovereign on-ramp. Her message is the opposite. The system is corrupt. Erika is a puppet. Move your money to my private servers. Use the Nashville bridge and go off ledger. So it looks like a war between them two, but it's not. Okay? And let's look at the technical architecture. Okay? Both the verified TPUSA apps and the sovereign Club Candace apps are built using Aegis strategic protocols. They aren't competing. They are the A/B testing of your behavior. That's what they're doing. They are capturing, in this way, they're capturing 100% of the market share. And to prove this, you have to follow the money. And I've spent months tracking the Bradley Impact Fund. And in February 2026, they issued the Succession Integrity Grants. And we found the white paper trail. And one check goes to Scottsdale to pay for the verified transition. And if people don't know, Scottsdale, that's where TPUSA, Erika Kirk, and all this is. And Nashville, when you hear me say that, that's Candace Owens. That's where her servers are coming out of. So one check goes to Scottsdale to pay for the verified transition, and another routed through 3 shell companies goes to Nashville, a Nashville tech cluster that hosts Candace Owens sovereign servers. So why would one donor fund both sides of a blood feud? Okay? If they're wanting to go one way, why are they going to get and fund both sides? And I'll tell you why. Because they aren't funding a side. Okay? They are funding the infrastructure of the sink. And they know that by 2027, the wrapping protocols that we're going to discuss in episode 2 will go live. At that moment, the sovereign track and the verified track merge. The rebels realize their private tokens are already formatted for the unified ledger, and the verified realize their compliance was just the first step. So, over the next 10 episodes, we're going to look at the layers of this operation and break it down and show you how it all fits together. And we'll look at the succession of velocity of Erika Kirk. We'll dive into the wrapping trap and the Nashville Bridge. And we'll expose the 1.5% taxation tax, which is a freedom tax, designed to monetize the rebellion. So the war you see on Twitter, on YouTube, social media, wherever it's at, it's all a distraction, okay? And the sink is the destiny. So I'm your host. Welcome to the machine. And I'll see you in episode 1.